Welcome to the Core Cars News Tech Lab. Today I'm going to try to answer one of the most common questions. What can you do about buffering and what's causing buffering with your favorite streaming services? I have a gigabyte service into my home. I use it a lot because we do these videos and I want the up speed mostly for our live streams and different things. But at the same time, I still at times in a particular TV see some buffering. And there's a few main causes for that I want to go over right now and how you can fix buffering. But if you're new here, hey, real quick, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. We're going to do our best to help you break free from the high-cost cable TV, but still watch the shows you want. So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, helps us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing here. And hopefully we can help you. So let's dive into it. How can you fix buffering? Well, buffering comes from a few reasons. And now number one, slow internet on your end. Now this could be, I hear this all the time, well I'm paying for 100 down or 200 or 300 down internet, and that's just kind of a rating of how fast the internet is streaming stuff from their servers to your TV, for example. The second reason is maybe it's not you, maybe it really is on their end. Maybe Netflix or Hulu's having issues. Happens, not that often, that's pretty rare, but it can happen. The other two reasons though are ones we can really fix right off the bat. Weak Wi-Fi is the number one cause of buffering. You can have a fast internet, but weak Wi-Fi causes it. Number two can be congestion in your Wi-Fi network, and I'll explain these in a minute. But let's start and let's run through the different ways you can address buffering. Number one, slow internet speed. Now, preferably what you want to do here is to see if you're really getting the speed you want. So you want to make sure if I'm paying for 100 down, I'm not getting 20. Because that is the issue. Now, it's never always going to be 100. It's kind of one of those up to 100 speed things. But let's say you're getting 80, 90, that's pretty good. But if you're getting 20 down when you're paying for 100, there's a problem. I had this happen a few years ago. Nothing worked. We were getting very low internet speed. I had CenturyLink at the time, DSL. It was the fastest option where we lived in Missouri. Had to keep calling you. If you tested your speed and you're not getting at least half of what you're paying for, call your internet provider. You may have to stay on them because I had this. I had to get after them over and over again to get them to send somebody to my house to repair it. And what ended up happening is the lady shows up from CenturyLink, incredibly nice and helpful, and I say, oh, hey, you're here. Our internet's not been working. She goes, don't worry, I've already fixed it. She said, I looked at your connection from our office and I saw that you were having some type of issue. It was at the box at the end of the street. Some water got in there, damaged it, I replaced it, your internet's fine. It took me 3 calls to get them out there. But when they did, it took the tech maybe 45 minutes to fix it, and she already knew what it was before it happened. So run a speed test, preferably on a device that's connected to your router through Ethernet. If you have a laptop and an Ethernet cord, use that to test the speed. If you're using Wi-Fi, try to test it with the Wi-Fi device in the same or as close to the router as possible, so you get the strongest signal possible for a most accurate test. If, again, you're not getting at least half of what you're paying for, get on your internet provider. This happened one other time with Comcast. Again, same situation. It was in a different state. One of those boxes, the poles, had been damaged. The guy said it looked like a tree hit it and kind of damaged it. They repaired it. My internet speed was restored. So your ISP could be the problem. So right there, number one, make sure you're actually getting what you want. Now number two, okay, so we know we're getting the internet right. We're paying for 100 down, we're getting 100 down. Really anything over 20, 25 down should stream Netflix without problem. Number two is weak Wi-Fi. If you have a big house, it's very possible that your TV may not be getting full Wi-Fi signal. And let's say you only get 1 or 2 bars of Wi-Fi. Well, when that happens, it means you get weak Wi-Fi and you're not getting the full speed of your Wi-Fi router. So keep that in mind. You can be paying for all this speed, but if your Wi-Fi is barely connecting to the device, then it doesn't work. In my old home, my office was kind of above the garage and I had the router in there because I wanted the ability to have strong Ethernet connection to my computer for streaming of videos and uploading of videos and other stuff. Well, that meant on the far side of the house, the other side of the house from the garage, was the family room. And in the TV in the family room was weak Wi-Fi. The good news is there's things you can do. You can get a mesh system to address that. If you can, try to put your router, the device creating the Wi-Fi network, in the center of your home. That will allow it to have the best coverage of your entire home. You can also get these mesh networks. You can also get all kinds of extenders and stuff. My only recommendation with an extender, if you're doing that instead of a mesh network, is to try to buy the same brand extender than your router. So if you own a Netgear router, try to buy a Netgear extender. I find I have fewer issues when they're all the same ones right there. So try to check it. Roku and most devices will show you the strength of the Wi-Fi network in your Wi-Fi setup. So check that out. It's a pretty helpful tool. If it's anything below good, if it says poor, for example, on your Roku or Apple TV or anything like that, I highly recommend you find a way to either run Ethernet or B, try to move your Wi-Fi router closer to the TV if possible. Because weak Wi-Fi means it's struggling to maintain that connection and it won't work, and it won't give you the full benefit of it. Number two is there's two type of Wi-Fi bands. You've probably seen your Wi-Fi network to be like Wi-Fi network and then Wi-Fi network dash 5G on the name, right? There's two different types of ones. The 2.4 gigahertz network has a much wider range but far slower internet speed. There's also the 5G aspect. The 5 gigahertz, which they call 5G, which is different than the cell phone. It's a little confusing. But 5 gigahertz will allow you to go out there and have a internet connect or have a far faster speed over your Wi-Fi network. Now, the downside of that is the range isn't quite as good. Now, inside most homes, the 5G network will cover everything you need without issue. You won't have to worry about reaching out there and being like, oh, I can't get what I want. It's not reaching as far. Maybe you have a very large home, or maybe you have a lot of electronics, or maybe a type of metal building that may be reducing the range. It could be a problem, but for most people, 5 gigahertz should work. Now, my recommendation is to put things like TVs and computers, things that really need speed, on the 5 gigahertz. And then all the other devices, right? We're increasingly seeing a number of devices. So you have an Echo Dot that plays music, or a doorbell with the camera in it, or you have a dishwasher, or heck, we got a new refrigerator recently because our old one needed to be upgraded. It's got Wi-Fi in it. All these other devices on the network, I would recommend putting them on the 2.4, the standard Wi-Fi network. It probably just says your Wi-Fi name without the 5G at the end. The reason I recommend that is it tries to keep that 5 gigahertz from being overwhelmed with all kinds of noise and traffic and congestion. Some Wi-Fi routers, if you look at the boxes nowadays, they'll say good for up to X amount of devices. And you may say, hey, I'm never going to have more than 10 devices, right? Well, that's surprisingly easy to do. Let's say you have three Rokus. You have 3 Echoes in your home. There's 6. 2 laptops. There's 8. A Ring doorbell, a refrigerator, an Xbox, a Wii, a PlayStation. The list goes on and on. And suddenly you have 15, 14 devices. You add in a couple of cell phones, kids' tablets. It's not unusual to have 20 devices nowadays connected to your home. Trying to manage that by putting things that need the high speed on the 5 gigahertz and the things that don't really need it. Let's be honest, my refrigerator, honestly, it doesn't really do anything to justify Wi-Fi, but it's a cool marketing feature. But putting that in the 2.4 gigahertz, maybe it's your washing machine. I was at Lowe's recently, noticed that some of them do pretty cool things of timing and all kinds of stuff through Wi-Fi now, where I could set it up so when I get home from work, it's just finishing. But I would highly recommend that you look into the different ways to manage that. And as part of that, making sure your router is one that's capable of handling the number of devices. If you have an old Wi-Fi router, it's probably not going to be able to handle as many devices. A cheap basic Wi-Fi router is not going to be able to handle the huge number of devices you probably have in your home. So that's my recommendation. Weak Wi-Fi, overly congested Wi-Fi, and make sure you actually get the internet speed you're paying for. So again, a quick recap. Test the internet speed. If you can, through Ethernet connected directly to the router. If not, test it with a laptop or phone as close to the Wi-Fi router as possible, so you have as strong of a signal to get as accurate of a test as possible. Make sure you have strong Wi-Fi on the TV that's causing this. And lastly, make sure you're not overly congesting the networks. Take advantage of your dual band, of that 5 gigahertz for streaming and laptops, and your 2.4 for things like your Ring doorbell or your dishwasher and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, if you have a Echo or a Google Home that's just playing audio, 2.4 gigahertz is perfect for streaming music and audio. So there you go. There's my tips. I hope these help you. I'd love to know, do you have a tip for adjusting buffering? Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you found. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It helps us. If you're a regular, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of these great videos. I appreciate everybody's support. I hope you have a fantastic day. I will be back tomorrow for Cord Cutting Today recaps. We do weekly Q&As and more. So I'll see you right back here tomorrow at youtube.com/CoreCarsNews.